welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 5-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you'll please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new content I upload. I'll be here all MLB DFS season long, breaking down these MLB DFS slates to help you guys become better MLB DFS players and help you guys win some money night in and night out. And if you are getting very, very serious about MLB DFS, you really want to put some effort towards it and get very profitable, I would highly recommend my MLB DFS premium package that's linked below in the description. You get access to my starting pitcher data sheet, hot hitter Statcast data, my splits leaderboard, team hitting data, bullpen data, power rankings, and my cheat sheet. Definitely think it's going to help you out. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day, the guy that I'm thinking is most likely to go deep in tonight's slate. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. So as always, we're going to go ahead and figure out the pitchers that we want to play first. It's fantasy sports. We have points for strikeouts. I always like to sort my sheet by K rate. Once we get done breaking down the pitchers, we'll get into bats. On the top guy on the slate today, a little bit of a disclaimer here as far as the slates are concerned. This Washington-Milwaukee game is the second half of a doubleheader. It's going to be featured only on DraftKings, and it's going to be a 7-inning game. So as we go along here, that's one game that's only included on DraftKings. Ian Anderson taking on the New York Mets, though, should be on both slates. 27% K rate overall, 11.8 swing strike rate, ground ball, fly ball stuff's really good. A 23.2% K rate against righties and a 31.8% K rate against lefties. Really, really good across the board. Ground ball, fly ball, hard contact, everything, the strikeout stuff. We do prefer to target him actually against more left-handed lines, believe it or not, based upon his strikeout rate stuff. And the New York Mets do have plenty of lefties in the lineup, and their lineup has not been looking too good with all these injuries they're dealing with. And they have a 2.95 implied run total. Ian Anderson's in a great spot to get a win here. The only problem is the weather. I'm not sure if this game's going to play or not. These last few games have been real rough as far as weather's concerned, or these last few slates, I mean. And, yeah, obviously that's important that the game plays, so keep an eye on that one. But he's 9-4 on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, they got him priced at $9K. I think he's going to be one of the top options on the slate, and definitely a guy that you could be looking to on the slate today. Julio Urias, the second guy on the slate, taking on the San Francisco Giants. He's the other guy you're going to be looking to in the upper tier. 25.4% K overall, 13.2 swing strike rate, 23.9% K rate against righties, and a 28.8% K rate against lefties. Also very good across the board, and also it's a pretty good match to take on the San Francisco Giants. The only problem with the Giants is that their lineup is designed to hit left-handed pitching pretty well for the most part, but they are dealing with some injuries right now with a few guys out that typically would be in there that are a lot better against lefties that aren't going to crack the lineup. So Urias comes in as a 197 favorite. He's priced way up on FanDuel. He's 11.5. Over on DraftKings, I got a price at 10K. On FanDuel, if Ian Anderson does go and you need the price tag for the bats, I think it makes a ton of sense. I think that these guys are pretty similar plays, to be honest. And, yeah, if the game gets canceled as far as the Braves and Mets game is concerned, obviously Urias is the easy pivot, but I have no issues with going down to Anderson on FanDuel specifically. Patrick Corbin taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. As I had mentioned, this game's only going to be on the DraftKings slate, only a 7-innings game. But with him expected to take the hill, has struggled a lot this season and hasn't been the best. But he does have a decent K rate overall in the last 2 years of his career. He is taking on a Milwaukee Brewers team that does strike out a bunch. And he is priced at a discount. He's only 6-1 on DraftKings. And I think that for that reason, you might be able to put him in your lineups. If you really need that salary to get up to bats, he should have plenty of strikeout upside. Should be able to go pretty deep into this game. I know it's not a full-length game, but this is the matchup you need and the price tag you need to be playing a guy like that in this situation. And if you need those expensive bats, Patrick Corbin's a viable option today. Taijuan Walker taking on the Atlanta Braves in that same New York Mets-Atlanta Braves game. 22.9% K overall, 22.8% K rate against righties, 23% K rate against lefties. Is a lot more dominant against right-handed hitting than he is against lefties, so we do prefer to target him against very right-handed heavy lineups, if at all possible, and the Atlanta Braves definitely offer that. Lots of righties up and down this lineup. Really only going to be like 3 lefties that crack the lineup, so Taijuan Walker, more of a risky play, but a viable play on this slate today if you want to change things up a pitcher to get different. Logan Webb taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers is a little bit scary. He doesn't really have the highest K rate. The Dodgers are not the best matchup in the world. I'm honestly not really looking to go to him, and I don't know if I'm really looking to go to anyone the rest of this slate, to be honest. You got Fulte and Justin Dunn, who both have been pretty terrible, but they're both also taking on offenses that strike out a bunch. So these two guys are guys that you could take a stand on in tournaments that people might be afraid to play, but they're playing against really good matchups and it could pay off for you big time. So Fulte and Justin Dunn do make some sense on this slate today if you're trying to get risky as well. And then you got Adam Wainwright taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks, who aren't exactly the easiest matchup in the world, but definitely not the worst. He comes in as a 138 favorite. The D-backs do have a 4.43 implied run total. A little bit scary to be going there as far as with that, when you're factoring all that stuff in when we have these other guys in the upper range. But, you know, this blend of pitchers down here is going to be the risky ones that could pay off for you big. Yeah, Adam Wainwright, Mike Folty, Justin Dunn. Frank Off's just a no for me. He doesn't strike out anyone, so I'm all set on that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, scale on our active ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in their career and how good they're expected to be in the future. And the worst guy on the slate as far as Sierra is concerned is Seth Frankoff, taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Looking at his numbers overall, we're only dealing with an 11 innings pitch sample size. Expected to be more so of a bullpen game for these Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks bullpen has not been good. I can tell you that much from looking at my bullpen data sheet. Not really pitching all that well to start the season. And as far as Frankoff's concerned, he's been really good against righties, really, really bad against lefties. Now, of course, this is a limited sample size, but from what we've seen so far, the guy's really struggling against left-handed pitching. And the Cardinals are just going to be a great stack. They're on the road. They're in Arizona, which is a great hitting environment. Looking at the color-coded data sheet that I always like to show you guys, Chase Field, a lot of green and yellow going on out there as far as for hitters. And then, you know, it shouldn't be an issue being able to get to this bullpen and the starter. So Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Yadier Molina, Tyler O'Neill, Edmundo Sousa, Justin Williams up and down. I legitimately have I have interest in every single one of these guys. And I have interest in the stack as a whole. If you want to play the bottom of the lineup as a lower owned option in tournaments, I don't think you're crazy at all. And I think that the St. Louis Cardinals are a great stack today. Justin Dunn taking on the Texas Rangers. We've seen him really do a bad job as far as ground ball, fly ball stuff, hard contact, but for some reason he's been able to limit the slugging and the hard contact to right-handed bats. Lefties, he hasn't been quite as fortunate, and that's where things are going to get interesting because the Texas Rangers definitely do have some lefties that we can target with some power against Justin Dunn. So I mentioned maybe pitching Justin Dunn against Texas. That's definitely a viable option, but I definitely think stacking up these lefties is a good option as well. Willie Calhoun, Nate Lowe, Joey Gallo, all three of those guys have a ton of power, and then you can fill out your stacks with guys like Isaiah Kiner-Fafella, Adolis Garcia, Nick Solak, Brock Holtz, another lefty, Jason Martin's another lefty, Jonah Himes, another lefty. He's shown a lot of pop as a catcher if you want to round your stacks out there. Texas makes a lot of sense to me today. Brett Anderson taking on Washington. This is the issue of not being a full game. It's only going to be 7 innings. Brett Anderson has been very bad against right-handed bats. Lefties is a lot better. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's pretty good, though. He just gives up a lot of hard contact and slugging, so you're facing those issues as well as far as when you're targeting him. And, yeah, you know, I mean, Trey Turner, Ryan Zimmerman, Starlin Castro, Josh Harrison, Yan Gomes, every righty that practice lineup's going to be a great spot, but they're only going to get 7 innings, so a little scary going there. Could be a differentiator for you in tournaments for sure, but it's a little scary going there. And then the next guy, you got Mikey Foltynewicz taking on the Seattle Mariners. Strikeout, ground ball rate, all that stuff's not the best. Hard contact stuff's not the best. He gives up a 4.68 slugging to righties and a 5.05 slugging to lefties. Not good whatsoever. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's really bad against those lefties as well. So we like to target him overall, and we like to target him in lefties specifically. And once again, the Seattle Mariners is another team that you could stack up. Jared Kelenic, Mitch Haniger, Kyle Seager, Kyle Lewis, Ty France, J.B. Crawford. 7 through 9 is getting a little scary, but they're going to be low-owned. And if you want to go there, sure, you know, no one's going to have them. So I like the Seattle stack today. And you're going to find there's a lot of situations where you're going to be picking either the offense or the pitcher, and they're both viable, and you have to pick which one you like more and why kind of thing at your own disclosure. You know, pitch data is always a thing with me. I'll be digging into that. And for my Patrons, keep an eye on, you know, feel free to reach out to me as far as my favorite stacks and all that stuff like you guys always do. But Adam Wainwright taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's a guy that we definitely like to target with left-handed hitting, and the Arizona environment is very good to left-handed hitters, so I always like targeting them. Josh Rojas, Ketel Marte, Eduardo Escobar, David Peralta, Pavin Smith, Josh Reddick up and down. You can round out your stacks with those righties in Carson Kelly and Nick Ahmed if you'd like. But really interested in the left-handed bats specifically, and then, of course, they do have quite a few switch hitters, so that'll pay off when they go over to the bullpen as well. No issues at targeting Adam Wainwright. Taijuan Walker taking on Atlanta is a similar guy where you really only like to target him with lefties, and the Braves don't really have the most lefties, so I'm not getting all too excited about the Braves stack today, to be honest with you. Logan Webb taking on the Dodgers is a guy that I'm not scared to target. A 4.10 slugging even up to righties, a 4.38 slugging even up to lefties. He does have a pretty good ground ball fly ball rate overall. So that's the only thing that's holding me back from being all in on the Dodgers, but I still expect them to perform pretty well. They have a 4.38 implied run total if you need to go to a different team other than the ones that we've been talking about, if ownership's being all stacked up on these other guys. Dodgers are definitely going to be viable. It's looking like Cody Bellinger's finally going to be back in the lineup. That's going to be a big upgrade to this lineup at the center of the order. And, you're going to feel really confident stacking up a team if you can fit in all the big bats like Mookie Betts, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, Cody Bellinger, Will Smith. All those guys can rake. So when you're looking at your lineup before lock, you're going to be feeling real good about that. Whether it's the best matchup or not is a different story. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's good, as mentioned. So I'll leave that at your decision making. But sometimes talent beats talent, so to speak, and the Dodgers are just a loaded lineup. So I'm not going to call you crazy if you go to them. And then that's when things kind of go downhill. I mean, Patrick Corbin, you can be targeting with these Milwaukee righties for sure. Gives up a lot of slugging to right-handed bats. Once again, this is only featured on the DraftKings slate. It is only going to be a 7 innings game, but Lorenzo Cain, Willie Adames, Avisail Garcia, Manny Pena, Keston Hiura, Luis Urias, Daniel Robertson, all those righties that cracked the lineup. No issues with going to them. It looks like there's conflicting reports on whether it's going to be Lester or Patrick Corbin, but the good news is that they're very similar pitchers as far as hard contact and all that stuff, to be honest. You're looking to target the righties only. And with that being said, before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. My home run call of the day today is going to be Joey Gallo taking on Justin Dunn. I mentioned his hard contact issues against left-handed getting really, really bad. The ground ball, the fly ball stuff, the hard hit rate, the slugging, all the above, really bad. And we know how far Joey Gallo can hit a baseball. Absolutely absurd the amount of power this guy has. Justin Dunn really relying on the fastball-curveball combination. Goes to the fastball about 53% of the time. On average, you're looking at about 93 miles an hour, and Joey Gallo crushes that pitch. A 207 ISO with a 371 WOBA, 57.89% hard contact rate. And then as far as the secondary pitch, the curveball, no worries as well because Joey Gallo absolutely mashes it. A 349 ISO with a 411 WOBA off right-handed pitching, 41.94% hard contact rate. Even though it's not the best hitting environment in Seattle, still got a lot of the spot for Joey Gallo. You can hit it out of any ballpark in the league. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Joey Gallo, light tower power. Love him in this spot tonight. Get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the support so far. Anyone that's been leaving comments, leaving likes, tweeting at me, liking my tweets, all the above, appreciate every single one of you. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.